Hey guys, welcome to Nerdarchy for Nerds by Nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted, and today I'm joined by...
Nathan Nerdarch.
And today we're going to do three ways to do a character build on Firbolg Beastmaster. Jump down to the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
All right, so we have a request for a character build. We have a Beastmaster, which we're going to be looking at the Druid and the Ranger in your trusty player's handbook. And I wasn't open to the page, so...
as well as they want it to be a Firbolg out of Volo's guide, which that's on page 106 and 107 of there.
And your Druid can be found on page 64, and your Ranger can be found on page 89 of your player's handbook.
So we have race, we have concept for class, but they said I want it to be a Beastmaster. Now, there's a couple different avenues to look at. Number one, as the Beastmaster, there is that archetype in your player's handbook, but then there's that not old, but there's that show, that movie called Beastmaster, where Dor traveled around with his variety of animals that were his friends and, did cool stuff with him.
So I prefer, because the Firbolg has a neat ability with which he can speak with plants and animals, I prefer to make the Dor.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds funny, saying a name.
It's D-O-R, not D-O-O-R. There's a difference.
Dor. All right.
So I figured if we went with and offered several options for, how you could take this and let you decide which one you want to play. But Firbolg has Speech of Beast and Leaf, and it's literally better than the forest gnome's ability to talk with small rodents, small mammals. He's got the ability to speak with beasts and plants. So much better.
And Firbolg is also going to get bonuses to Strength and Wisdom.
Right.
Which is very nice for a more martial character, as well as anybody that's going to be playing a Druid or a Ranger.
So first, let's get into the basic. We're going to make a Ranger that's a Beastmaster Firbolg. Now, going down this road, you are going to get the best singular animal companion. And you have the ability to then use that first level spell, Animal Friendship, to coax other animals into assisting you in your day-to-day affairs. But those spells are a duration of 24 hours. Thankfully, no concentration, but being a secondary caster, he's not going to get a lot of spells to use with that.
But it is nice. You're gonna have that, like Ted was explaining. You're gonna have that buff companion, that's part of your archetype. And with Animal Friendship, you're charming other animals so that they're not hostile towards you. They're kind of friendly towards you and your companions. And pretty much as long as you or your companions don't damage them, the spell's not broken.
Right.
So then you can talk to them and kind of get them to hang out with you. And they're already your friends. So what do friends do for friends? Lots of stuff.
Right.
So I think you can be able to convince birds to do stuff, especially if you're going to offer them food. Like, oh, hey, go deliver this message for me. I'll give you food when you come back. And you're my friend, so as long as it's within the 24 hours, they're already friendly with you. And I think you can develop from that. You can develop rapport with different animals simply based on your ability to talk with them over time.
Now, there's a limitation on Animal Friendship of, if they've got an intelligence score of 4 or higher, the spell is going to automatically fail. They do get a saving throw, but, if you've got a cool GM, you're probably already going to have a decent score, and their stats are not going to be, super high. So they might just you friend them. And unlike many of the other charm humanoid spells, these ones don't say, they automatically, when the spell ends, they automatically know that you were under they were under your effect, and, they're going to have to deal with that. No, it's that for the duration. And then the spell's over. Yeah,
so none of that annoying charm magic backlash after the charm spell's over.
Which I really don't like, but that's a whole other topic.
Yes. So that's just general. That's like straight out of the book. Pick Ranger Beastmaster, liberal use of Animal Friendship and your Firbolg ability, and there you have it.
Now, if you wind up going with, if you use it with Firbolg, you either can put your dump stat into Strength and go with a ranged fighter, or you could maximize on their +2 to strength and make a melee character that's going to join the fray alongside their companion. Now, if we go over to Druid and do a full caster here, not only do you have the ability to use animal friendship the way the ranger was doing, you can do it much more often, and every level that you pump that spell, you're affecting another target with one casting. So very useful. And if there aren't things around, summon Nature's Ally. Great spell to add some some companions. And if you keep doing it over and over again, or if you're talking to things, it's very possible that you might just be able to convince them to follow you around. Yeah, they're normal beasts. They're not getting better with levels, but they just might follow you around because you're that cool and you've got magic, and it is what it is.
I like the idea of doing the wild shaping ability, because you can wild shape into like an alpha wolf, and then thematically you just like befriend a pack with animal friendship, and you can talk to them. So I mean, you're obviously special. You're strong. You're powerful. You can make the other people in the pack do what you want. I mean, it's pretty much. You're alpha. You're the alpha wolf, and you can also transform, which is something that none of them can do. So you obviously have a like in the hierarchy, you're at the top.
Well,
and that would be really cool thematic wise to be able to like transform into a large X, like whatever you choose, to also have choose to animal friendship the creatures that are kind of like closely linked to that.
Now the amusing thing is you could totally play up their lesser intelligence and be like, oh well, no, I'm a wolf and I've got the ability to shapeshift into a humanoid.
Yeah, because you can talk to that. Like, yeah, because they might ask you and you can explain. Now, does it say they can communicate back with you, or just that you can communicate with them?
You have the ability to communicate in a limited manner with beasts and plants. They can understand the meaning of your words, though you have no special ability to understand them in return. You have the advantage on all charisma checks made to influence them.
But they do have a spell, Speak with Animal, that would really animal and plants that would really add to this, and I would say that would go a long way towards being able to convince them that not only they're magically charmed by you, but when they're not magically charmed by you, they just think you're awesome,
right?
Because you're a wolf that can turn into other things,
right? Now, on the other side, or the flip side, or however you want to look at it, you could literally bridge the gap between these two classes. You could pick a hybrid, Druid Ranger multi-class, where you're getting the best of both worlds. You're going to get that animal companion that's going to follow you around all the time, as well as you're going to get access to greater spell options with all your levels of Druid, and be able to shapeshift. You've got a lot of spell potential between them, and be able to summon or befriend or communicate. You've got it all.
Yeah, as well, you'd have the spell power to back up the amount of creatures that you may want.
So, if you're looking to do, as I said earlier, if you're looking to do a martial character, you're going to put a decent score in strength and wisdom. They get a +2 and a +1, so you've got the ability to have a 16 strength, 16 wisdom, no problems. Depending upon which build you're going to go, if you go full ranger, I would wind up putting your next stat into Constitution. This way, you've got decent hit points. If you're looking to go Druid, I wouldn't care so much about concentration, because you're going to be able to wild shape. I would put the next highest in Dex then. So next we need to really focus on which one would be our dump stat and what would be our background.
Well, I think intelligence could be the dump stat. It's not a big deal. You don't. What do you need it for? Tricking beasts?
You're already smarter than most of them, if not all of them. So
you're the smartest in the pack, and that might be the way you think about it. Like, I don't really get along with other people. It's not because you're dumb, but it's because they don't just jive with you. You identify more with creatures as being fun and just more personable, which is kind of funny. Think about it that way. But you might just get jive with creatures better, and that might be due to your below average intelligence.
So then, what do we go for a background?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this while we were talking, and I just don't have one yet. So I would,
So
not Outcast. All right, so
Outlander.
let's just say, yeah, Outlander. That's what I meant to say. So, it's kind of the everybody could pick that, and it's great for it. But I found that it's just so easy to pick Outlander.
Well, when you get into the nature-based characters, your barbarian, your druid, your ranger, Outlander really seems like a easy choice. And because it's an easy choice, it's a challenge to go with that. For me anyway, it's like, all right, this is like it makes too much sense. Can we think of something else that is going to be thematic or can work? Now, I look at you can go with Sage. Uh, you have knowledge skills, totally worthwhile. Change one of them from Arcana or History. Change it to Nature, and you are more sagey, but it's about the things that are more important to you. You can go with Acolyte, and you could literally have been an apprentice to another druid, and your knowledge religion is more towards naturey religion. You could literally have been pressed into service and be a soldier, and you want to get away from that life. You didn't want to go that direction, so you're leaning towards the areas of the wilds because being a soldier was not a happy thing. So I mean those are some options.
So, if you had to pick one of those, what would be your favorite?
Acolyte.
Acolyte. All right, I'm going to pick Performer.
Okay.
And I'm going to say he's the BFG, the Big Friendly Giant. And he is a performer in a traveling group. And he speaks with animals. He has them do tricks. He does all this other kind of stuff. And people love to see that stuff, especially, not so much like bears on balls and stuff like that, or weird crazy like balancing things, but just neat like go grab this coin from somebody's ear or something like that and bring it back to me. That kind of stuff where normally like a big bird of prey, it's very intimidating to be by your face, but it's very gentle and stuff because it's either charmed at the time or it's been trained and friended by this big friendly giant. And it also kind of gives that kind of like awkward like circus style where you're kind of, when normal humans are around, you're this big person. So, and you can also transform, so you can kind of like hide that or make it more pronounced. Because they say you can shrink down to like human or elf passability, but did they say anything about going up?
No, it did not.
And you can also carry a bunch of weight. So there's a whole bunch of aspects where you're the strong guy, you're the giant, you're like all these kind of things, and you're very gentle and you talk with creatures and get them to do different things for you. I'm sold. I like that. Yeah,
I'm sold on Performer.
Yeah, so I'd say Performer, and perhaps something happened and they're now adventuring because something happened with that caravan being attacked, or whatever the case may be. Well, maybe it was actually a thieves guild was being run out of it, and he didn't even know. And when he found out, he had to run.
You could literally have like wherever you're starting this campaign off, like, all right, you're this performer and you're level 1 in whatever class, and this shows up in town as to whatever's going on, and now they're in the middle of the action and they're compelled to help.
That's a good point. Or they could all be different performers from that, not necessarily have the performer background,
right?
But are really skilled in one way or another, and that's kind of what they bring to it. Like knife thrower, that doesn't need to be a performer; that can just be an expert at knife throwing,
right?
So that's kind of where you can start. So it's a few ideas for how to develop your Furbolg Beastmaster, as well as where you could have a background and starting adventure.
So if you have any other suggestions and you want to continue that conversation, down in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
You can also patronize us in a good way over on Patreon.
So until next time, stay nerdy.